Hey guys, Pat here. Welcome to Box Office Addict, my weekly live stream podcast where I break down the weekend numbers and have a free-form discussion with the chat. Here we are at episode 53. If this is your first Box Office Addict, I hope you enjoy the show. And to all the returning fans, I guess, and subscribers and people that have been with the show for months now, I thank you for your support, and I hope we can have a really good show here. And it's been an exciting journey the last few weeks as Pat has moved from Pennsylvania to Ohio, and I've been on this journey. It's had a lot of ups and downs. There's been a lot of highs. I went to go see The Shining in the theater this weekend, and it was a film print, a 35mm print, so I've had a lot of good times. Also had a lot of bad times, like my wallet getting stolen, worrying about paying the bills, just stress, car trouble, all sorts of things. Life's been up and down, but that's part of being an adult. You know, you don't really get to stay in the comforting familiar like you do when you're a teenager or a kid. Even though those times are really stressful, those stresses you have when you're young are kind of beautiful. The pain, it almost gives you a respite from the actual struggles and tragedies that are going on in the real world. Maybe because you're so narcissistic when you're young. But as an adult, hopefully, if you're not just a psycho or something, you have a lot of empathy and you have a lot of maturity and deeper understanding of things. So the pain isn't as helpful. The pain actually just kind of hurts sometimes. So the pain's been painful in a very literal way. Mental stress that can contribute to physical stress. But the good things, like going to a bar this weekend, a jazz bar this weekend, and having a really good beer that got me pretty buzzed, and listening to music and having a bartender that looked like iDubbbz certainly makes you feel good about life and makes you feel like living in the city is a pretty good thing. I haven't lived in the city in years. I mean, I grew up in the city. I grew up in Dallas, and I lived in Albuquerque for a number of years. But for the last decade, I've lived in small towns. That doesn't mean I didn't go visit cities. I still went to Pittsburgh and so on. But now living in the city again, the thing about it is that part of what's great about it is that you're living on the edge. You're really on the line a lot of the time. You know, people live paycheck to paycheck here. And there's a feeling of opportunity, like things can happen. And there's energy. There's so many people around that you're just picking up vibrations and energy. But the thing with it is living on that edge, that line, does make you feel alive, especially when you're young. I mean, if I was in my 60s, I probably wouldn't want to be doing this. But, you know, when you're 28 and you're nearing 30, it's kind of nice to be living on the edge a little bit like that. Like, well, yeah, could this all fall apart in a few months? Could I not have any money? Get kicked out of my apartment? Could something really bad happen? Like my car gets wrecked and I can't get it fixed? You know, will I lose everything? There is that feeling, and while it's very scary, it is a nice way to live in a sense. It makes you feel alive. Instead of when I lived in the country where I lived before in PA, I got so comfortable being in that spot, you know, knowing my home was there and I wasn't really going to lose it, knowing that I had a pretty successful business going, knowing that I had a lot of friends and family near me that I always could go to if I needed something or I needed help. So it was, you know, you get comfortable. And when you get comfortable, it's nice. It takes a lot of stress out of your life, but it also takes a lot of the drive and humanity out of you. It takes a lot of those things that you need as a creature to go out and strive for. So I think there's a balance you have to find, unfortunately, that neither side's perfect, honestly. And honestly, living in a small town or in the country and not worrying so much about that stuff is in so many ways it's better. So, you know, and I wouldn't suggest everyone just move to a city, but, you know, it's an experience. I'm going through the experience. It's me against the world in a way. And I guess that's just where I'm at right now in my life, is me going against the world. When will you appear on the reappear? I don't know. That depends on what Jeff. With your voice like that, you sound like you are on NPR. Welcome to This American Life. I am Pat. Today's story comes from Pennsylvania, about a young man who moved to the state next door, but he didn't find it very neighborly. We'll be back after these ads. I'm trying to talk low and calm because I'm still afraid of the echo of an empty apartment. The echo to reinforce that I am alone, because the more I hear my voice bounce off these walls, I have to be reminded that my voice and my presence is all that is in these walls, not items and materials and things. It's just me. So there is almost that part of it too. So I'm trying to talk lower, more to the microphone. I know I have a very high voice sometimes when I get really excited, but I can also have a very calm, downer voice at the same time. I wish I got more of you in the High Council. Dion can deliver a really good rant sometimes. Yes, he can. I am going to talk about my experience on the High Council. I was just giving you a little prologue to where I'm at right now, because I like to keep you guys up to date. So it is mono. I can be a little mono sometimes. I have a kind of a flat voice sometimes. I remember talking to a girl on the phone when I was a teenager once that I knew online, and I thought she was really cute. And she called me on the phone and she goes, "I didn't know your voice would be so flat." And I was like, I thought it was like an insult, but I, you know, like saying like, "Hey, you got flat boobies." But then I realized, oh, she didn't mean in a negative way. But it does make some of the humor feel more deadpan. I have a feeling Pat's appearance on the High Council is not all positive, just a hunch. I'm gonna apologize before I'm telling the story, because I can't be transparent. I can't go into everything about the High Council thing, what I felt and all that, because quite frankly, it's rude. I'm a polite person. I really like Jeff. I really like everyone in there. For the most part, I liked everyone. I thought everyone was really nice to me. We had a conversation after the show ended that was very kind and sweet, and I was invited back on. The chat was the thing that was bothering the most. I can't say that. I was not enjoying the chat on the High Council. But I get that it's a much busier chat. 1,600 people were watching. So I can understand that I'm used to this chat where everything's really calm and cool. So I can understand that that's part of it, that we were just in a much bigger chat. So your likelihood to get more trolling. But we'll get into that. But overall, I had a good time. I think Jeff's a really wonderful guy. I give him a lot of credit for having me on when he didn't have to. I liked my experience on there. I liked getting to talk to Ethan, to Jeremy, to Dion, to Jeff. Jeremy invited me on Geeks and Gamers. He said I have an open invitation. They wanted me to network them with David Stewart, to get David Stewart on, which I think is the best thing that I've accomplished on there, is to get David Stewart possibly on those channels. So I'm very happy that all of that can happen. So, you know, a lot of positive came out of that David Stewart's going to be on. I made some connections. I added 100 subscribers from it. So there's really nothing to complain about. I had a good time, you know. It wasn't what I expected it to be, and I said on many times before this that I didn't. Yeah, there was that one guy that was really gunning after me. I don't know if he was just joking, but he would write a comment about me every like 10 seconds, and he did it for the entire stream just about. He just would not, even when I wasn't talking, he would talk about me, because there would be like 20-minute stretches I didn't say anything. Yeah, it was the whiskey or something, and he would just keep talking about me, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, chill out. But it's whatever, you know. People don't like you. A lot of people didn't like my voice. They thought my voice was too, they kept saying I was soy, and I was a beta male, and that I was ranting. I kept hearing people say I was ranting, which I didn't get, because I don't think I ranted at all. I don't think there was one moment in that entire stream I went on a rant. I was trying to be very polite and cordial and let everyone talk. I don't know. But it happens. There's a debate with that episode that it's either the worst High Council of all time or it's one of the better ones. A lot of the fans seem to think it is one of the worst High Councils. Even a guy who was formerly on the High Council, Brian, I saw him write in the comment section that maybe I'm old and bitter, but this is one of the weakest episodes of the High Council. And I remember seeing him on other ones. He also came after me for liking Rolling Rock. I was in a chat and I said I liked Rolling Rock, and he said that's shit in a bottle. And I go, it's funny, anytime you mention any beer, there's always somebody who says that beer sucks. It's like being a fan of a sports team. He was just saying I was a soy boy and that I sucked and I needed to be kicked and I was narcissistic and I was making it about me, and he was mocking me, saying I was an artist and that I liked Tom Cruise and that I was putting myself on this pedestal that I didn't deserve when I said I knew a little bit more about anime than the rest of the guys, but I didn't want to talk about it. And I don't know where that was coming from. I didn't think I was being that way. But he might have, once again, he might have just been trolling. I don't know. But yeah, I saw Brian. I know he had been on some high councils and stuff, and he didn't like the episode. And I saw a lot of comments saying, "Don't invite me back on because I have a really gay fag voice and I'm annoying." But I've heard that for my whole life. I've heard my voice is really bad. So that's not something I'm not used to. That doesn't really bother me. The main thing with it was just that it was a weird show. I know Jeff said he thought it was one of the smartest episodes, because we actually had in-depth conversations and we were kind of arguing about things. And I know that other people thought it was boring, that it was low energy. That was a very, very low energy stream and it didn't work. So there's a debate, it seems to be. I mean, overall it was successful. It got 15,000 hits and, 1,000 likes and all that. But I don't know what the consensus is. It's definitely going to be one of the most debated episodes of the High Council. There's no question about that. I don't blame myself for that. I just think there was something weird about the night. A lot of people tried to put it on me or Dion, but I was like, you guys don't get it. There was just a weird chemistry going into it. Like, I don't think anyone ever got a good chemistry or flow going. I never felt like I connected with Ethan or with Jeremy or with Dion or anyone. And I don't blame any of them. There was just something wrong. We couldn't get a flow going. I don't know if it's because it was 5 people, so it was too hard. For me, the best part of the whole stream, for me personally, was the final half hour. When it was just me, Jeremy, and Jeff, and we were talking about Mauler and YouTube, and I was telling them about their content. I was being very complimentary towards them. And we were talking about just making videos and where this whole thing was going. I thought that was great. The final half hour, I thought, really came together. And us talking about, and me saying that we're kind of like superheroes hanging out in the Hall of Justice or something. Ethan did seem very angry. I wasn't expecting that. Ethan Van Sciver, who I'm a fan of, was very angry that night. So I don't know what was going on. I just, maybe he was in a bad mood. He was very angry immediately. I don't know what happened. I don't know if something pissed him off. Or if he was just having a bad night. But I was expecting, because I came in with the whole C-3PO joke, about C-3PO banging Anakin's mom, and I thought that was a pretty funny place to start. And I thought that what's your theory on the feeling you have? What do you mean specifically? I'm sorry. And so when I started with the 3PO thing, I thought that was funny. And I thought that, the red arm being like blood. Plus when we talked about the show Becker, and I said that, the guy was blind, so he couldn't see the privilege. I don't think Ethan has a screw loose. I disagree with that. I don't think Ethan's crazy. But it was just a weird show. I don't know what happened. I want to talk to Jeff about it on a separate video and ask him what he thought. Because he loved it. Jeff said it was like one of his favorite episodes and he had a great time. And he didn't get what the chat was talking about. So, maybe we all just have a different perspective. But I got what the chat was. I thought it was a weird show. Maybe that's what made it fascinating, that it was a train wreck. Your strange feeling on the High Council. It was just a weird show. We just never had the chemistry I thought we would have. I thought it would be a lot funnier and more energetic. It got serious. We were arguing. I didn't go in there to argue. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting Ethan to go on this rant about SJWs and Marvel. That stuff threw me off. I just wasn't ready for that stuff. It wasn't that I thought it was bad. I wasn't expecting all that. I didn't know Dion was going to be there. I just wish I would have had a little bit more prep time. The Batman prep time. What happened was, I think it was just one of those weird things where everything came together in a bad way. Like I had to drive 4 hours back to Pennsylvania to get a new ID that day, so I was tired. I was car lagged as fuck. Okay, I had to get up early that morning and go do a job interview. Then I'll talk about the movie trailers when I'm done with the High Council story. Then we can go into what I thought about Shazam and Godzilla and all that. Is that fair? We can talk about it after I'm done with this, because people have been asking me about my High Council experience. So I want to talk about it, because I said I would tell everyone about it on Box Office Addict, because you guys are a big reason I got on there. You guys kept demanding. I mean, Jeff said my most requested guest. So, you know, I wanted to talk about it because you guys made that happen. But if you remember, I didn't want to go on the High Council. I had said that many times on here, that wasn't the show. I wanted to do a one-on-one video with Jeff, or go on a World Class Bullshitter show. I told, Jeff asked me in an email, what show do you want to come on? And I said specifically that I did not want to come on the High Council. That wasn't really what I wanted to do. But I said, if you want me to go into it, that's fine. And then somehow I got dragged into the High Council, but that was never my intention. I never wanted to do that show. Not that I'm a fan of the High Council. Don't get me wrong. I'm a fan of the show. It just wasn't my, it wasn't my bag. I didn't want to talk about Star Wars really. And there was no news. So I just, you know, and I just wasn't ready to, I don't do good with the group chats. I've been in other group chats where it's 5-6 people and it doesn't work as well. I'm a one-on-one guy, or one talking to someone, or talking to 2 people. I'm not very good at the like group of people in a room together. I can't really ever figure that out. So I never expected to go on there. So it kind of was like out of left field for me. I didn't even know I was going on there until Sunday. Sunday, somebody told me, Jeff said he wants you on the High Council this week, and I was like, oh shit. So I had to, I wrote this car ride, so I was just tired. I was very tired. I was low energy. I had gotten very little sleep the night before. I had to go to a job interview in the morning. I had to ride in a car all day, so I was wore out. So I'm sitting, you know, I went to go see my parents, and I'm sitting in their house on my microphone. I'm just tired, and I didn't get to see my family. I drove back 4 hours to get an ID, and I didn't get to see my family, which was upsetting. So it ended up being the longest episode of the High Council, because I have this thing where things can't be short. It was 3 hours. For the record, I thought you were funny and thoughtful on the show, and actually put on your radar for me, so it was a good thing overall in my opinion. Well, if you came here from that is a good thing, because I love having new people to this channel, and I appreciate you being on here, Drivel. Thank you. That makes me very happy if you came here from that stream. I was trying to be thoughtful. I think a lot of people on the channel thought I was going to go in and be in ranting asshole Pat mode that you see on Box Office Addict, but I actually went in with sweetness. That was my goal, was to go in and be very sweet and nice, because I was humbled by the whole thing. I definitely think me and David Stewart's one-on-one stream went a lot better personally, but that doesn't mean I enjoyed going on the High Council. I enjoyed talking to those guys. Mainly it was just getting to talk to those guys. I kind of wish we could have had a conversation that wasn't recorded live. The conversation we had before the stream and after the stream was so nice. And there was all this pressure I felt while we were recording. And I felt like I didn't rise to the occasion. I felt like I had this opportunity to really do something, and I just didn't do it. And there was just things I wasn't expecting. I didn't expect to say George Lucas wasn't a genius and get a lot of backlash for it. That came out of nowhere for me. This top 5 storyteller thing I wasn't expecting. Even in the comments, a lot of people are mad at me for saying George Lucas isn't a genius, but I just don't use that word as liberally as other people do. I don't use it for just a good filmmaker. I don't call that genius, but I know that is a subjective argument. So I'm not pretending that I'm correct in my thing. I don't think George Lucas is like some 160 IQ genius. And I do think he gets too much credit for Star Wars. And I know people say, oh, Red Letter Media just says that. It's like, no, I've done the research. And nobody's that genius to do everything that made Star Wars what it was. And if you believe someone's that much of a genius, I don't think you know much about art and film and how movies and stuff are made. It's not like he wrote a novel by himself. Thousands of people worked on Star Wars. So I just don't agree with that George Lucas single-handedly did, like, he had everything planned out. I think that's a ridiculous assertion in general. I do think I do better one-on-one. I agree. I think that would have been best, but I'm not gonna complain. I got to be on the High Council, so it's awesome. It is weird that I mentioned James Gunn. That's the weirdest thing about the whole show, is that I mentioned James Gunn's Twitter, and this was on Tuesday, and he got fired on a Friday. So I don't know how that happened. It's like I had psychic powers. So that was weird. If his edit of A New Hope was the one released, it would have tanked. I agree. That movie is very much editing at its finest. And the music score by John, which is true for so many movies. It's not like I'm saying George Lucas is this rare thing. It's just this is true for a lot of movies. Where I would say Steven Spielberg's a much better storyteller filmmaker because he has like 20-something films where he does amazing. George Lucas really only made 2 good movies. American Graffiti and Star Wars. You know, I don't, and then people give him all this credit for Raiders, but like, Lawrence Kasdan wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark screenplay and most of the good dialogue. Harrison Ford being cast in that role is really a big part of it, and Steven Spielberg directed it. Now, George Lucas was a great producer on the movie, but I don't give Raiders George Lucas. That's a Steven Spielberg movie. It feels like a Steven Spielberg movie. And when I think about Close Encounters and Jaws and Empire of the Sun and Saving Private Ryan and stuff like that, I think, and you know, we were talking about the top 5 storytellers, and I was like, what about Billy Wilder? What about Howard Hawks? What about Kurosawa's films? I mean, have you guys watched Seven Samurai and Hidden Fortress and Ron and Yojimbo? And, you know, what about all these filmmakers that are brilliant storytellers that made you know, so many films, where George Lucas really only made a couple movies, and he wasn't like the main writer on all of his other films. So that's what was confusing me, that he made all these, that he was like this brilliant storyteller. I mean, I think he was a good storyteller, but I don't think he's even in the top 20, quite frankly. I'd say Woody Allen's a better storyteller. I would say that Bergman was a better storyteller. I'd say Kubrick was a better storyteller. I just go down the list here, you know. I think a lot of filmmakers are better storytellers off the top of my head. You know, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem saying Cameron Crowe in a lot of ways is a better storyteller than George Lucas, but that doesn't mean I don't love Star Wars or that I don't love American Graffiti. So, you know, that's no big deal. I've read the original Star Wars script, yeah. I think Jeff actually knows a lot more about movies than he lets on, because he would say some deep cut references, and he was laughing at a lot of my jokes and getting stuff. I actually think Jeff's a pretty sharp dude, and we only live an hour and a half apart from each other, so I'd love to go meet Jeff and hang out with him. I think he's a really sharp guy, and I think me and him got along great. I think me and Jeff hit it off. I wish he had talked more. He was kind of quiet, but I felt a real kinship with Jeff. Screen is blank and no audio. It shouldn't be. What the fuck? Is anyone else having audio issues or screen issues? I need to know. Because on my end everything's fine, but that doesn't mean it is on your end. I'm confused. Well, I've never been much of a Star Wars fan. Dion seemed more angry. Yeah, he did seem angry. But he was drinking. Dion did drink that night, which I wasn't aware of. So it might have been he was just drunk. It was funny, though, when the show ended, Dion was sleeping, and he was snoring. And everybody left. Like, Ethan left. Jeff left. And it was just me and Dion, with Dion snoring. And I kept trying to wake Dion up, like, wake up, Dion, wake up. And he was just snoring, and I said, all right, good night, Dion. For about 2 minutes, I was in a room, so he just was sleeping with his Google Hangout still on. I think Jeff's playing down a little bit, yeah, because just hearing him talk, I mean, he brought up Caligula with Malcolm McDowell. That's a pretty good movie to pull out. Of course, I've seen more American Graffiti. How do we suggest Jeff to get exposed to Neon Genesis Evangelion? And no, I am not getting any video nor audio problems. I don't know. I don't know. You guys are going to have to spam it in the chat, I guess. In some way. I didn't have an issue with Dion, honestly. I know a lot of people seem to think Dion... I mean, he was getting a lot of shit in the chat, too. I mean, he was getting it the worst. I probably got it, like, I'd say it was 60-40. But I don't think Dion was being bad. I don't know why everyone was so angry at Dion. I kept seeing that and I didn't understand. You know, I'm not here to talk crap about anyone, so I'm not going to talk bad about Jeff, and I'm not going to talk bad about Dion and all them. They're very nice to me. I have no reason to talk bad about them. You know, if you guys have issues with them, that's fine, you know. Tell them that. I'm not here to say bad things about the guys. You know, they had me on a show. I'm not gonna go backstab them. After. Yeah, you know, he brought up Caligula. I mean, he brought up some good stuff, you know. And we were asked about Blazing Saddles. So I think Jeff knows his movies. I think he's just kind of downplaying it a little bit. So, which is the right thing to do. I think is the right thing to do, honestly. If you want a really successful YouTube channel, I think the audience doesn't like it when you come off smarter than them. It's a really bad idea to be smart and have opinions. To not do confirmation bias where you're just saying what everyone wants to hear. A lot of people just want to hear what they already think. So when you just say like, well, hey, I don't think George Lucas is that great. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't think he's one of the genius filmmakers of all time. I think there's a lot better filmmakers. You know, you just say that, and people freak out because they want to hear George Lucas is a genius. The chat does. I'm not talking about the live stream, but the chat wants to hear that because they think that, because Star Wars means so much to them. And there's things like that. People don't like you coming off smart. David Letterman was good at that. He would be the smartest guy in the room and he would play the dumb guy. Or Howard Stern does that a lot. You play dumb because there's no condescension. People don't like to feel condescended to. And they don't like when you're bringing up stuff that maybe they don't fully understand, or you're acting as if that you've thought this thing out and formed an opinion. It's really a bad idea. I would give anyone that advice. Never try to be as smart as you can be. I could do that on my channel because it's whatever, but when I might have miscalculated how to talk, quite frankly. Really, the only odd part was Ethan's rant on SJWs, but the rest was perfectly fine. I couldn't go down that road with him, but that's fine. I'm just sick of SJW stuff. But he has every right to complain about it if he wants to. He's dealt with that stuff directly much more than I have. Yeah, people only want to hear James Gunn's as a pedophile, even though there's no evidence of it. But this is becoming a narrative now. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to say that because that's ridiculous. Yeah, I think Lucas is kind of dumb and insane. Seth Rogen went to a meeting with him once at Steven Spielberg, and he kept talking about 2012 being the end of the world and the Mayans, and he believed it. And he told Seth Rogen this for like an hour. I mean, you hear these stories about George Lucas, he sounds insane. Or you see him in interviews, and he doesn't say anything. I mean, it sounds like he doesn't even know what Star Wars is or why it worked. So I don't even understand this idea that George Lucas is like amazing. So I'm confused. But I like all those guys, so and it was very kind of them to ask me on. I just don't agree. But if they want to, it's their videos. If they want to say that they think James Gunn's a pedophile, then that's fine. I don't believe that's true. I think that's a conspiracy theory. But that's fine. Yeah, Lucas believed in 2012. No, Seth Rogen, I mean, this is well documented. Like, Lucas says all sorts of crazy shit. Either he's the best troll ever. Will you take up Jeremy's offer and go on Geeks and Gamers? Yes. Yes, I will. What is the most overrated movie you've seen? Gladiator. Everything the Red Letter Media says about Lucas, he's right to me. I agree. I think they're actually very on point with it. Yeah, Gunn's tweets were disgusting. I agree, and they weren't funny. Completely agree. Yeah, trying not to sound smart is hard to do. It is. It's hard to, like, downplay. But I will take up Jeremy's invitation. Yeah, Cernovic, or is it Chernovic? But I think it's Cernovic. Yeah, he's a conspiracy theorist. He has been. I mean, I'm not a fan of that guy just because his politics align with mine. I think that guy's a freaking asshole. I mean, there's no... And my sister's nudes leaked photo. My sister's nudes, they leaked. Okay, I don't appreciate it. You folks don't need to look at those photos. Okay, gang? Alright? I don't want you looking at her pictures anymore. Okay? Her boobs are fake. Stop saying her boobs are fake. They're not fake, okay? And the idea that you think I'm just defending her because she's my sister's pretty ridiculous, okay? Back when the fappening happened, I told these actresses not to take these photos anymore and not to upload them on the internet. And I also said that to my sister. I called her on the phone and I said, what the fuck are you doing? Okay? Don't do that. That's pretty messed up. So I don't appreciate it. And but by the way, folks, you shouldn't look at people's nudes leak. I don't care if there's a menorah in the background and you find that funny. Okay, it devastated my mother and father. Alright, gang? It devastated them. It's pretty bad. Okay? So leave my sister alone. I don't care if she's a toothpick with balloons on her chest. All right? Leave her alone. Okay? I don't appreciate it. She has a wonderful singing voice. Okay? She's going to college. She's really smart. She's got a great future. Don't ruin that. My wife, who's a doctor. Okay? She's a doctor. It's not cool. It's pronounced Cernovic. Okay, it's Cernovic. Okay, because I've heard 100 different versions. I've never heard it said live. I've only ever read his name. I've never heard his name. So it's Cernovic. Mike Cernovic. Okay. His tweets are immature, edgy jokes. No evidence of him actually being a pedo. I agree, there is no evidence. Now they're trying to go with Ryan Johnson according to some 4chan post. Yeah. We have truly weaponized autism, people. My real problem with the James Gunn situation is that he has the companies associated with were on his Twitter profile, so those tweets represented those companies. Yeah, sure, that's a good reason for Disney to fire him. He represents the company. He has every right to get fired, for sure. Ben, what do you think of your sister's boobs? I didn't look at the pictures. That's messed up. What do you think I am? Okay. I didn't appreciate it. I didn't like that picture she had with the dick in between her boobs. Oh god, I just exposed myself. Oh no. Get Blue Apron, folks. Please, get Blue Apron. Don't focus on what I just said. Blue Apron, please. Only $800 a month, folks. Okay, gang? Don't look at the photos. No looky at Shapiro photos. Hashtag 2018. Okay? Don't let it ruin my political career. Things are going really good for me right now, gang. Okay? Alright? Those were from his trauma days. I mean, I wish they would have fired Ryan Johnson for James Gunn's tweets. That would have made me happy. This just in. Ron Howard to direct Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Why do you think Gladiator's overrated? Will you do a video? It's one of my dream videos, is to do like a Plinkett-esque review of Gladiator and how awful it is. How bad the script is, the messiness. Actually, a lot of people feel this way. Throughout my life, a lot of people I've been friends with that are film buffs hate Gladiator. I find a lot of people love it. I think it's one of the best films ever, but I know a lot of people, like Roger Ebert gave it 1 star. There's a lot of people I know that fucking hate that movie. I think it's a mess. I think it's well made. Don't get me wrong. Ridley Scott's a good director visually. It's a good looking movie and it's got nice action scenes and all that. But yeah, I think the storytelling's a mess. I think the acting's so over the top and ridiculous. They didn't have a script for when they were filming a lot of the movie, and I think it shows. I think it's about as emotionally manipulative as a film could be. It's every problem people have with Braveheart, but even worse. And I have a lot of issues with Braveheart, but Braveheart's a much better movie. Some of the editing and the way it's put together is ridiculous. Pretty much everything. I think everything about Gladiator is overrated, except some action scenes and special effects and all that. I think it's just a really, really terrible movie. Or a very, very generic, mediocre movie that somehow won Best Picture and was praised as one of the greatest films of all time. Like, you know, if you want to give it a 5 or a 6, that's fine. But yeah, I don't know. Gladiator's this masterpiece of cinema. Like, no. Not at all, in my opinion. Not at all. Yes, Ben Shapiro's sister Abigail's nude photos leaked, like 75 of them, which is crazy. I don't think Gladiator's an amazing movie. I'd even say that it's not even a good movie. And I think it has a horrible screenplay. Everyone's acting's really bad, excluding maybe Joaquin Phoenix. It's ridiculous. It's so inaccurate and hilarious and stupid. It's as manipulative and cheesy and melodramatic as Hollywood cinema can be. It's everything wrong with movies like that. It oddly feels like a Mel Gibson movie, like Apocalypto or something, or Braveheart. It's really weird how much it feels like a Mel Gibson movie. Just a laundry list of things that I have wrong with that movie. Well, you do a Plinkett impression on your Gladiator. A protagonist. For me, Gladiator was just okay, 5/10, but I've only seen it once, but I do hate Braveheart. Yeah, if you give Gladiator like a 5, I think that's fair, just for production values and it's watchable. But like, yeah, this idea that it's a, because I've just, if you're asking me what movie I think is the most overrated film, I'd say it's that, just because I know so many people that thinks that's like one of the 100 best movies ever made, and I just think that's ridiculous. I think it's fine if you like the movie, but I don't think it's like one of the greatest films of all time. I don't even think it's close. I wouldn't even put it in the top 1,000 greatest movies of all time. I think it's a very, very, like, it's just a generic movie. That's my main thing with this, how generic it is. I mean, there's not one thing in it that's standoutish from other movies, except that maybe some of the production value was pretty innovative at the time. Are you not entertained? I'm not. Rob Ager says that Apocalypto is one of the best. I mean, it's a nice piece of filmmaking, Apocalypto. The actual cinematography and filmmaking is really good. It's a really well-made movie. So there is that. I mean, you have to give Mel Gibson that. The bastard knows how to make a movie. Pat's analysis of Gladiator. But you know, if people, you know, once again, if people like Gladiator, I'm not here to tell you that you're wrong. You know, I just don't like it. I mean, overrated and underrated are subjective as fuck. It depends on what your perception of the movie's reputation is, really. What movie did deserve Best Picture that year and over Gladiator? Almost Famous by Cameron Crowe, which I did a video on. It's one of my 20 favorite films. It feels like a Hal Ashby film. It's Cameron Crowe's best movie. It's got all the great stuff about Jerry Maguire, filmmaking-wise, and Say Anything. Maybe not as good of a script as Jerry Maguire, but he did win the Screenplay Oscar. Or Traffic by Steven Soderbergh, which did win Best Director, Supporting Actor, Film Editing, and it didn't win Best Picture. You think Traffic would have won? Because it won all the other major awards? Gladiator was a very surprising winner. But for me personally, I think Almost Famous should have won, and Cameron Crowe should have won Best Director. That's the one I would have picked. I think Almost Famous is a masterpiece, and it's just gotten better with time. Especially the 3-hour cut. I think the full cut on Tidal, which wasn't the film nominated, actually. But if I had to pick a second one, it would have been Traffic. For sure, and Traffic feels like it should have won. So those are the two off the top of my head. So I would go Almost Famous, Traffic, and yeah, Gladiator. I don't even think Gladiator should have been nominated. I think it should have been nominated for some tech awards, but not Best Picture. I would talk about What About Bob. Yeah, I love What About Bob. Braveheart's an entertaining movie, man. I mean, Braveheart's a really entertaining movie. Even though it's ridiculous and comical and silly, it's a really fun movie. I mean, it's got some of the best action scenes ever shot for a film. It's some of the most realistic battlefield fighting scenes ever shot in a movie. No question. Where people don't stand and clash swords for 10 minutes. Like, you have a few clashes and then a guy gets his head cut off. Or he gets stabbed, you know? They're very accurate. Up there with Excalibur, with armor actually being accurate. Braveheart's very accurate in the combat scenes. Those are very good scenes. I hope Invader Zim's good, but every time they seem to revive something, it comes back and it just sucks. So I don't know. As a Mexican, Apocalypto and Traffic are awful. Wasn't just being a Mexican awful in general? Doesn't it just suck? I mean, I imagine it's pretty terrible to just be one. What do I think of the Godzilla King of Monsters trailer? I think it looks like shit. I think it looks like messy dog poop. I don't like anything about it. Adam Wingard's a bad filmmaker after he made a couple movies I liked. I liked The Guest. Not a fan of the trailer. The Shazam trailer was surprisingly good. It looks like Big with Tom Hanks, but as a superhero film, which is the right way to do it. I think that was a surprisingly good trailer. The difference with these revivals is that the original creators are actually involved in the production. Just every time, I know, but that you hear that all the time. The original creators involved with the production in these revivals. That doesn't mean that they have that same spirit they had years ago. Sometimes when you make something in a bubble and you make it for that little bit of time, you can't get that back again. You know what I mean? That's the issue. You can't, you're making something and you're in a zone when you're writing and directing it, and then you just can't bring it back again. That's a problem. I mean, it's pretty. Yeah, they clearly spent money on it, but who cares? It should look good. It probably cost $200 million. Oh yes, Adam Wingard's doing Kong vs. Godzilla. That's right. Thank you for correcting me on that. Yeah, the guy who made Krampus, which is a film I don't like. I like his first film, Trick or Treat. I think that's a very good movie. I actually do not like Krampus. I'm not with Red Letter Media on that film. I think that film is so self-aware and trying so hard to be one of those movies. It's a complete failure. You're correct, though. Thank you for correcting me on that. I forgot Adam Wingard's doing the Kong versus Godzilla. It could be good. King of Monsters could be a good movie. I didn't like Gareth Edwards' Godzilla at all. Oh, Aquaman trailer. Yeah, Thor with a dude bro. I didn't like that trailer. A lot of people are saying the Aquaman trailer is amazing. They're saying it's visually amazing and looks great, and I think it just looks like CGI. I don't buy any of it. It doesn't look real at all to me. And I really don't get this idea that it looks amazing. The dialogue sounds terrible. Jason Momoa's line delivery is terrible in the trailer. I love Patrick Wilson. He looks good. And the Submariner looks good. But yeah, most of it looks really bad. I mean, it could be good. James Wan's a good filmmaker. So I'm not saying that it's going to be a bad movie. But I didn't think the trailer was anything. I think it was everything we've seen before. There was nothing about it that blew me away. Cheesy dialogue, Jason Momoa's line delivery, just a bunch of CGI. I mean, I didn't think it was some... People are saying it's like this visually amazing looking film. It looks like... I didn't see it at all. I mean, it looks good. It doesn't look like a bad looking movie, but I don't think it looks like some cinematic achievement. But maybe it will be when you actually go see the movie. You know, maybe that'll be that way. They should actually fire Adam Wingard to do the Godzilla vs. Kong if I was doing it. I would fire him. Yeah, Shin Godzilla is good. I just didn't like the Aquaman trailer. Was it not Submariner? What's his name? What's the name of the guy, the bad guy in the Aquaman? You know, Aquaman, he's got the laser eyes. I can't believe I can't remember his fucking name. It's not What's his name? Patrick Wilson's obviously him, and Black Manta. Yes, Black Manta. Thank you for reminding. Yeah, Black Manta. Black Manta looked cool. In the trailer, Black Manta looked awesome. Like, I'm a big fan of Black Manta, too. I mean, sorry, I haven't read Aquaman and Aquaman stuff in a while, but Black Manta, yeah, he's great. The Submariner is someone else. But Black Manta is amazing in the trailer. I think he looks exactly like he does in the comics, and it reminds me of the Super Friends. So I like Black Manta, and I think he looks good. I think a lot of that stuff's really good, but I just don't like the dialogue. It looks like it's gonna have really bad cliche. It looks so cliche. I don't know if he doesn't know how to fly or he just figures it out through the movie. I do like the Shazam trailer though, that he's figuring out how to fly and he's using his powers, and Zachary Levi's doing that Tom Hanks thing where he's playing a kid. I think that's a really good idea for a movie. Yeah, Black Manta is cool. He's a very cool villain. Justice League Unlimited had an awesome thing with Aquaman. I mean, I like Aquaman. But I mean, it's an okay trailer. I'm not saying it's bad. But it looks okay. I didn't think the Godzilla trailer looked amazing, but that's fine if other people thought it looked good. Just because it looked good visually doesn't mean anything to me. That doesn't win me over in a trailer anymore when a film looks really pretty. I've been tricked too many times. Every movie looks pretty. I remember Last Jedi looking really pretty. I remember like, man, the color red and all the shots are beautiful. Oh, but this film sucks. I remember the Gareth Edwards Godzilla trailer looking fucking amazing. Bryan Cranston, you're hiding something. And the door shutting. And it looks like this compelling film about this guy who lost his wife at the beginning, and he's with his son, and Bryan Cranston's in the whole trailer yelling, I mean, I remember the Godzilla trailer being like amazing, and that movie had a $93 million opening. I remember going an opening weekend like, man, Godzilla, and that film's really boring. And after the first 15 minutes, once Bryan Cranston dies, it goes to shit. The Last Jedi wasn't amazing. Will, what are you doing here? Did you just come into the chat to say a bunch of shit that's crazy? Like, Gladiator's amazing. Godzilla looks at Last Jedi's amazing. like, dude. Do you just like everything? Are you one of those people that just like, oh, there's pictures moving on the screen. This is good. Holy crap, man. I mean, you know, it's fine if you feel the way, but Jesus. I've already read like 10 comments from you where you're saying like this movie's amazing and this movie's amazing. Do you dislike something? I hope there's movies you don't like. I like good stuff. Well, I would like some evidence of that, sir. Please tell me some movies you like that are good, and that we can agree. I've been waiting. I mean, do you like Jurassic World? Do you think that's a good movie? I mean, if you like Jurassic, I'm just asking. Plan 9 from Outer Space was amazing. You thought Justice League was bad. Okay. I mean, I'm just messing with you, dude. I'm not. I'm just having fun. I'm just joking around. Troll 2 is the best movie ever. Well, in some ways it is. And by the way, Plan 9 from Outer Space is one of the most entertaining movies I've ever seen, so I have no problem saying that's a great movie. That film's hilarious. Jurassic World. Oh god, Jurassic World's so bad. Jurassic World, the first one, is a decent popcorn flick. Soy me up. Soy me up, Uncle Alfred. I mean, that's cool, dude. I'm just messing with you. I'm not telling you wrong. I'm just messing around. I'm just shocked you're subbed to my channel and you like The Last Jedi, because a lot of my stuff's so negative about that movie. I'm just surprised. Yeah, it does look. It looks like a crappier version of Thor. Hey, Frasier. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for setting up that Wild Smile thing. I'll also be going on a live stream on Wild Smile's channel. He doesn't know who I am, so that should be fun. They're eating her, and then they're going to eat me. Oh my god! One of the best scenes in film history. Fuck Citizen Kane. It's all about that fucking Troll 2. Yeah, I didn't get anything I wanted from Godzilla 2014. That's a weird thing to me. Last Jedi gets better with rewatching? That's so weird, because I think it gets worse. That's shocking to hear. I mean, it's cool if you feel... Yeah, every time I watch a movie, I think it gets worse. I think more holes start to appear. I don't know when I'm going to go on Wild Smile stream, but he did invite me on. Due to Frasier danger. So, give the credit to him. I'm sure you could also get a guest spot on Naked Ape streams tonight or some other time. Yeah, probably. Although, I feel like, I don't know, Naked Ape's not very fun to go talk to. I gotta say, I love Naked Ape's content and the guy himself, but he always has Aiden around and just talking to them. I don't know, I just don't enjoy... He's not as fun to talk to as you think he's gonna be. Or he's just kind of been out of a groove for a few months. He just seems to, like, start shit for no reason. I don't know. I mean, I'm a big fan of Naked Apes. I don't want to talk crap on him, but... He's definitely not as fun to, like, bullshit with as I thought he would be. I don't know. I'm a little disappointed with his return to YouTube. Personally. Yeah, he is. He's just mean as shit. Yeah, that's the thing. He's just so mean. And he's just not very fun to talk. Like, he won't give you any room. And it's all about him. And I don't know. How much time do I rewatch? Well, if I like the movie, typically I'll watch a movie 30 times. If I like the movie. I mean, I don't hate Aiden Pal. I don't want to make it like I dislike her. Like, I watch her videos. Like, excuse me, I watch her videos. I watch all of her videos. I've watched every single one of her videos. I mean, there seems to be a mixed opinion on her. Some people find her really annoying, and other people don't. She kind of falls on the annoying side for me on live streams. So that's just my, you know, it seems to be mixed. I just, sometimes, she has a nice voice, but sometimes, yeah, just her emotional side, because she's a little emotional... she's unstable a little bit emotionally. To her own, she's admitted this. It just kind of... She reminds me of crazy ex-girlfriends I've had. And she scares me in that way. And I don't like women like that. She reminds me of crazy ex-girlfriends I had who call you on the phone and yell at you. Or bipolar chicks I dated who, like, you're dating. And then she bangs, like, your friend. You know, she's so similar to some of those chicks. She's got like that Hannah Baker from 13 Reasons Why thing going on, and it freaks me out. Am I jealous that she gets to be on Naked Ape streams and stuff? Yeah, of course. I'm totally jealous of her. She gets, yeah, she gets like $500 super chats, and she gets to hang out with Naked Ape all the time, who I wanted to hang out with. So yeah, of course I'm jealous of that. I'm not jealous of being her. I'm really happy to be a man and not have autism, and all of these issues that she has. That doesn't... I'm much happier to... I'm not jealous of her. I don't want to be getting banged by Sinatra Says. He just lives over in Cleveland. I don't want to bang that guy. No, thank you. And she turned hard bastard into a soft bastard. No, Aiden's got a great voice. I agree. I like her solo videos. Yeah, I do. I think her solo videos are great. I just don't... Yeah, I don't like her on live streams. That's all it really is. That's all it is. It's just a different thing. I don't like her on live streams. I like her videos. I think she writes good scripts and makes good content. Totally. But yeah, I was just disappointed in Ape. I thought Ape would be a lot more fun to talk to and be funnier, and he's just kind of a dick. And I used to think like that was a character he's playing, but now I'm like, I don't know, are you just an asshole? Like, he always talks about morality and atheism and how you need religion to be moral and have these moral standards, but he doesn't seem to practice any standards of tact or etiquette or morale. I don't know, he doesn't seem like the good dude that he claims everyone else needs to be. And I don't really like that about his stuff. It's like, well, you're no better than anyone else. Why are you pretending that you're like this amazing person? I don't really get it. Yeah, I'm very jealous of Mundane Matt. I could deal with him personally. He just comes out shooting, and you have to know how to bitch and fuck out him before he can take. So yeah, you know, I don't mind it either. I mean, that's who he is. We're a fan of him because of that. Of course. I mean, I'm a fan of... I mean, I love Naked Ape. Naked Ape was one of the reasons I started making YouTube videos, but... I'm not saying people are... Yeah, I agree there's a moral religion. It's just, you know, he made that argument. He went from like... Yeah, but when... It's kind of like try hard Frasier, you know what I mean? Like, he's trying too hard. And he's kind of losing something in it, you know? Like, he's turning into a try hard, and it's not as organic as it used to be. He feels like a guy... Like, sometimes to me it comes off like an older guy trying to act young and hip. And I think there's like a disconnect with it. Really smart guy, though. Really smart and funny guy. Great. I love his voice. I love his sense of humor, but sometimes I think he's sort of... And he uses just internet speak too much. How he talks about being a normie and boomer stuff. He says stuff that just feels like it's not funny anymore. Like, it's stuff that died on 4chan 6 months ago. And that's... I mean, I don't know. It's just throwing that stuff around anymore. It's like, shit's dead, man. Like, the fact people even still say, like, the boomer joke and all that, it's like, oh my god. It's one of my issues with Mr. Mediker, who's amazing and so funny, is he still says the, like, autism and soy stuff. He does these jokes that are so, like, they're so dead, it's just beating a dead horse. It's not beating a dead horse, it's sticking your cock in its mouth, fucking it to death, and then blowing its brains out with the shotgun after you're done finishing. I mean, it's at the point where, like, some of these conservative or libertarian red-pilled jokes are so fucking dead. And they're just past the point of being funny anymore. And it's like, come up with new phrases. A lot of smart people like Jordan Peterson. Sam Harris is a fan of Jordan Peterson. He's a very intelligent guy. A lot of people who like Jordan Peterson are smart. Soymer, that's a good one. So I don't know. I didn't know dumb people like Jordan Peterson. I thought he had a lot of fans that were smart. Like the nostalgia critic joke. Yeah. I mean, I'm just throwing shade right now. I shouldn't do that, but I guess Naked Ape does it, so why the fuck not? I guess not. I mean, I'm a fan of him too, so that's what I mean, I would tell him this stuff. I'd go like, dude, you're just fucking saying these jokes that are outdated. I'm a huge fan of Mumkey Jones. Mumkey Jones is amazing. Love Mumkey Jones. Mumkey Jones is a guy who's consistently funny and says new funny things. But Peterson thinks there is free will. How stupid can someone be? I mean, you can disagree with him on something and still agree with him on a bunch of other things. He also says a bunch of stuff about religion I don't agree with, but a lot of his stuff's backed up by research, scientific research. He's a very well-read clinical psychologist, and he's looked at a lot of papers, and he's a very well-read guy. A lot of things he says is 100% right. Other things he says I don't agree with, and I think he says goofy shit all the time. But sometimes Jordan Peterson says stuff that's very on point and backed up. I mean, I make fun of him. I put memes of Jordan Peterson up. I think he's very memeable. I think I'm more mixed on Jordan. He seems like a nice guy, and he seems like somebody that wants to help people. But he also says a lot of shit I think is just bizarre and silly. But he is an academic. I mean, he does have the degree. He used to teach at Harvard. I don't think he's stupid. No, I think that's ridiculous to say he's stupid. I think if you're saying he's stupid, that's just narcissism and arrogance on your part on somebody. Because he has the credentials and the background and has been working in academia and with smart people. So I don't. You could think that he's a whack job. I can agree with that if you think Jordan Peterson's a little crazy, but he's not stupid. Just his vocabulary and reading skills alone are above average intelligence. He's above average in a lot of those ways. I mean, if you actually meet somebody who's genuinely stupid, like a real stupid person, like Jordan Peterson's not what I would call stupid. I would just say he's a little wacky, but actual stupid people are really, really stupid. I mean, there's a big difference. Well, I'm just saying he has a background. I mean, he's taught. I mean, I don't think he's stupid. I mean, I think you can disagree with him, but to say he's stupid is just hyperbole. It's absolute hyperbole. That's ridiculous. I don't care if Dishonored Wolf says he's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to say he's a stupid person. I guarantee you his IQ is at least 120. He's not a dumb guy. Yeah, I've met really, really stupid people, so I don't. So I don't that maybe my standards are different, but I don't think everyone has to be a genius and be right about everything to be smart. I think you can be a average decent intelligence. You just have to be intellectually honest, though. You have to hold everyone to a certain standard, but that doesn't mean they're dumb. Just because Jordan Peterson says a lot of stuff that is just wrong doesn't mean he's stupid. Amazing Atheist says Jordan Peterson is stupid. I mean, you probably do have a 100 or something IQ. Your IQ is probably like 105 to 120. I mean, probably. I mean, that's not that crazy. It's just raw intelligence. He has a very high raw intelligence. That doesn't mean that he's correct with his research or that he knows a lot of. I mean, that's a difference. Some people are better at being objective and understanding facts and not being so caught up in subjectivity. But that doesn't mean that anyone that doesn't make someone stupid or smart. I mean, yeah, that's a problem with TJ. He thinks people are just stupid because they have religion, and Matt Dillahunty doesn't say that, and that's why I'm a fan of Matt Dillahunty, is that he never says someone's stupid because they're religious. That's a really bad argument. A lot of really smart people throughout history have been wrong on many topics. It's just a weird thing about life. And a lot of dumb people are right about a lot of things. I don't know how that works. It's just how life is. Because we have biases. Because we're flawed. Our upbringing affected us. Nobody's 100% objective on anything. Even if they claim to be, it's bullshit. You have a bias. I mean, you have a confirmation bias. You have a conscious bias. Unconscious bias, really. There's things that you believe to be true or untrue more to an extent than maybe they are, just because you have a preference for those things, or it has to deal with your cultural background or your environment when you grew up and stuff like that. But there's a lot of really smart people that are wrong on many, many things. I mean, I don't know how you don't know that. You can read literature. There's a lot of people that are authors that they're so wrong about a lot of things. There's a lot of great, talented filmmakers. There's a lot of, I mean, scientists were wrong about a lot of things that were brilliant, man. It's just been throughout history. It's just part of life. Not everyone, nobody knows everything. unfortunately. When do we get to the box office? I guess we should get to the box office, actually. I've kind of been rambling a little too long. Sorry. And it's actually a great weekend at the box office. There's so much to talk about, so I can't believe I've ignored it so much. Yeah, there's just a lot of people that I'm a fan of that were really smart guys that just say they're just dead wrong about some things. It's weird. I mean, there's no answer to that question. There's really no answer to that question. It's just part of humanity. Being wrong in science is how science works. When finding out there's a theory is wrong, you have progress. Yeah, but not everyone's a scientist, and being a scientist isn't the only gauge of intelligence. I mean, there's so many factors to go into here. Especially when you're talking about philosophy, when you're talking about philosophical concepts a lot of the time. And a lot of the things we're talking about are philosophical. If it's a philosophical discussion versus a scientific argument, it's a different parameter that you have to gauge the argument. If we're talking about what the meaning of life is philosophically, that's different than talking about it scientifically. They can coincide, but they are different for sure. I mean, if you watch a Stanley Kubrick film, there's a lot of philosophical approaches to stuff in 2001. It's not all scientific. And that's why we have stuff like art in certain literature and things that make us feel, like music and stuff like that. There's feeling in life, not just the intellectual stimulation or the things we know to be true. Yeah, no, there's been scientists who were dead wrong about things, yes, and then part of it is of being wrong. But you're just saying, how could somebody who's smart be wrong? Well, that's an example. You can be wrong. You're saying it's part of science. That backs up your whole point. How can smart people be wrong? Well, they can. It's really that simple. You're saying it's part of science. Well, then that, once again, you just kind of answered your own question. Some scientist is wrong and somebody else figures it out, and that makes progress in it. But that means that person who was really smart was wrong about something. They got something wrong at one point because they lacked the information to know better. Or maybe they didn't do the proper research, or they went about it in the wrong way. So that's part of it. You can be wrong and smart for a multitude of reasons. You asked why. There's hundreds of reasons why you can be smart and wrong about something. Like, there's so many reasons. Like, it's too open of a question. There's probably 1,000 reasons how somebody smart can be wrong about something. Did you watch How It Should Have Ended? I mean, I've seen that show. I haven't watched any recent ones. Let me see how long we've been going. Oh, Jesus, 1 hour. Well, we have 50 people watching. That's amazing. That's awesome. It's really good. We had 90 people watching the James Gunn video. Sure, but science is about figuring things you do not understand yet. Jordan Peterson is stupid about things he should know better because they are debated for centuries. I mean, I think you just have a problem with Jordan Peterson, and you're trying to make this a definitive thing when it's not. I mean, if he took an IQ test and he got like a 130 and it proved he had a high raw intelligence, that would devalue your point that he's stupid, right? That would debunk it, wouldn't it? Or if he knew something you didn't know, or if he could do something better than you that required a level of intelligence, right? So that's a part of the thing. You just asked kind of a dumb question. You said, how could somebody so smart be stupid? I'm not saying it's dumb and like you're dumb. I'm saying it's too open of a question. Like, you're asking me to give an answer on something that I think's pretty self-explanatory, or there's 1,000 possible answers to it. So I just think it's kind of like, and why am I even getting asked that question? I think it's kind of silly too. I don't, it's like, well, I don't know Jordan Peterson personally. I don't know how much he's lying about stuff that he says or that he believes it. I don't know. I can't read his mind. I mean, I don't have all of the answers in life. So then the IQ test must be stupid, or he's just good with doing IQ tests. It depends on the test you're taking, for sure. But, you don't have to agree with IQ tests, or what they mean. But they do have a lot of evidence to supporting them. I mean, there's a lot of research that goes into supporting the IQ test being a good barometer of intelligence. Not success, mind you, or creativity. But you can definitely feel the way you want to about it. That's fine. That doesn't matter, you know. IQ: working, functional, intelligent, measurable through mental activity and the ability to solve puzzles logically. Yeah, I mean, it's just that's all really it is, you know. And yeah, if he did well in that, that would say that he has a level of intelligence. I mean, once again, I'm just not saying he's dumb. I'm saying that he's wrong about a lot of stuff, but that doesn't make somebody stupid, is all I am saying. That's all I said. I think you can be smart and be wrong about a lot of stuff. I don't think that necessarily makes you could be saying what you're saying is stupid, but that doesn't make you stupid, is what I'm saying. I have evidence of Jordan Peterson being stupid from the stuff he said about free will, atheism, and religion in general. That doesn't make someone stupid, though, just because they say stupid things. That's the whole problem with your argument, is that you've decided he's stupid based off these things, but that's not very scientific of you actually saying that. So that's kind of an issue too. Like, you could just say anyone's stupid based off certain things that you don't agree with or anything like that, or that they're wrong about specific things. That doesn't make somebody in general a stupid person. You can think that, but ultimately what you're saying is subjective. And stupid and smart is honestly subjective too, to a point. There's a lot of people I think are stupid that other people would think are smart and vice versa. So that's also a subjective thing too. So it's a tough thing to talk about because we honestly can't get to a definitive answer. And that's the problem with it as well. You know, somebody would say you were stupid, you know, about something. How could somebody not be stupid when saying stupid things? How else do you determine if someone is stupid? By tests that we have that have gauged intelligence, that have been done over and over again and practiced against different cultures and environments and people. That's why the IQ test, especially the main two ones, and why we have things like Mensa, are such good details about someone's intelligence. So that we have things like that. And we also have people saying really smart things. Sometimes Jordan Peterson says really smart things. And then he says really stupid things. So that's kind of the mixed thing too. He's certainly not stupid. I mean, just by hearing his, once again, how he talks, his vocabulary, how his brain processes things, and how he breaks down things, you can tell that he's not a stupid person. It's not even really debatable, but unless you hold a different standard of stupid, then I don't know. I'll rant about Seth MacFarlane sometime, but I don't think somebody saying stupid things equals stupid, and I don't think neuroscientists or psychologists would agree with that either. I don't think that's what they would say either, so. Most time JP only sounds smart. Yeah, but even that shows a level of intelligence. Like, that's kind of a thing. Even that shows a level of intelligence that that most people don't have, so. Now, I really like you. You seem to be quite an open-minded guy. I am a very open-minded guy. I've always been one. Anyway, let's get to the box office. I apologize for the side tangents. Blind Spotting, the indie darling, which I might go see here soon at a local theater, opened to 332,000 and 14 theaters with a 23 average. These two guys wrote the movie, and it's a first-time director. We'll skip Infinity War because there's nothing to really check, and Deadpool, they're pretty much where they were at. Not much to talk about. Bo Burnham's 8th Grade, the best reviewed film of the year, I think. It's definitely up there. 1.1 million so far. Made, I don't know. God, I didn't check it. It's in 33 theaters. Let's go back. I didn't actually look at the number. I feel bad. 794,000. That's a 201% increase, 0.1. And the theater average is, what, 24,000. That film is doing really well. It's got like 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's really weird. Bo Burnham made a film that's that acclaimed. Leave No Trace, which I also really want to go see at a local theater here. It's actually playing in a neighborhood down the road from me, in some small 3-screen theater. This is from the director of Winter's Bone stars Ben Foster, 891,000, 24% drop. It's made 3.6 million. This is also one of the best reviewed films of the year. We might be looking at Oscar contenders. Won't You Be My Neighbor, 1.3 million, 33% drop, 18.4 million. It's a very good run at the box office for a documentary. Three Identical Strangers, plus 19% at 332 theaters, 1.4 million, 4.5. Very popular, well-reviewed documentary. So we're just going through one well-reviewed movie after another. Then we get to Uncle Drew. 1.5 million, 52% drop, made 40 million domestically, 41 million worldwide. A little bit of a disappointment. Thought that movie would make a little bit more money. Ocean's 8, starring Sandra Bullock, Cate Blanchett, Anne Hathaway, a bunch of fucking chicks. 1.5 million, 45% drop in 1,000 theaters, 135 mil domestic, 261 million worldwide. With a $70 million budget, I would say this film is a success, and we'll have to see if it can pass 300 million. Sicario 2 has made 1.8 million, 51% drop. After a surprisingly good opening weekend, this film hasn't held on very well at the box office, but it has passed the original Sicario's 46 million. It should be able to make 50 million domestic. We'll have yet to see if it can pass the 84 million of the original. On a $35 million budget, I would say this film has not broke even. Sorry to Bother You, a surprise little indie hit that's got great reviews, 81 on Metacritic, 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, $2.8 million, 32% drop. It's made 10.2 million domestically. Kind of had a big drop, really, for a film that opened at 4.2. It looked like it was going to do a little bit better, but it might wrap up under 20 million. I thought this film would make 25, 30 million. From Boots Riley. Very popular film, at least in film festival and indie circuits, not necessarily a blockbuster. Unfriended Dark Web had a terrible opening weekend of 3.4 million. After the first film, I think, had a much better opening weekend and made money. Even though the budget's only 1 million, that's still a really bad opening weekend in 1,500 theaters. Kind of makes it seem like it was pointless to make this movie, or it should have been released straight to Netflix or something. Skyscraper, the first Purge continues to be successful, 4.9 million, 60 million domestically, 96 million worldwide, should break 100 million and be the fourth film in the franchise to do so. This is from Jason Blum and Michael Bay. You have the last film made 79 million domestic, and then 71 million for the Purge Anarchy, and the first Purge made 64 million. This should be able to make around the first Purge's money domestically. Worldwide, I don't know how far it'll go, but it is definitely a success with a budget of 13 million. Skyscraper continues to be a bomb at the box office, $10.9 million, 46 mil domestic, $125 million budget, 131 million worldwide. This is one of the Rock's only real bombs with Baywatch. For the most part, his films do really well. Rampage broke even, I'd say. Jumanji was a major hit. The Fast and the Furious franchise. He was in Moana. Central Intelligence was a big hit. San Andreas. People say, oh, The Rock can't open a movie by himself. But that's just not true. You actually go back to San Andreas, and that was a big hit. So I don't know why people forgot about that movie. It just came out like 3 years ago. But Skyscraper definitely is not performing well with its budget. So I think The Rock did suffer from overexposure, releasing generic action movies so close together. It was just a bad project, Skyscraper. Even though it and Rampage got pretty, okay reviews, like 50-something%, they got mixed reviews, but Rampage, ended up making enough money because it's a big monster movie, so it had a foreign number. Skyscraper was always a bad idea. So The Rock should have probably turned at least Skyscraper down and maybe made another comedy, and that would have probably done better. I think doing this dumb action movie and releasing 2 films in the same year, I think was a bad idea. I mean, still, the fact the movie opened at 24 million, that's probably only because The Rock is in the movie. So, to his credit, he still is a star, and he does have the Jumanji franchise. So, but he needs to be way better at picking his roles and not doing films like this. I think he would be better off doing comedy films. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom continues to surprise at the box office. 32% drop, $383 million domestic. This film's going to make $400 million domestic. It's made $1,196,904,505 worldwide. This should make $1.2 billion. I don't think it'll make much more than that. I don't think it'll reach 1.3, but still 813 million foreign, 383 mil domestic. This is an insane run at the box office. $170 million budget, 185 in promotion. But yeah, if you look at the first film, it made 652 million and then made 1.6 billion worldwide. But this really isn't that bad of a drop. But you think about Force Awakens making 2 billion and then the one making 1.3. This is actually doing pretty well. compared to so many franchises. So, and this puts Chris Pratt right under $8 billion worldwide as a total. But he's having a good year. Avengers Infinity War and this film both making over $1 billion. So good for him. This is crazy. I thought this film would do at best $1 billion. I thought probably it would make 950 million. I thought it would be lucky to make 300 mil domestic, especially with the reviews, and I just thought the hype died for this franchise. But there's a huge audience out there, people who love dinosaurs and love Chris Pratt, and it's just, I know my nephews, for instance, love this Owen character and love these movies. The kids really like these movies. It had a surprisingly good opening weekend of 148 million. That was better than all tracking. It's going to make 400 mil domestic. Nobody predicted that, and it's going to make 1.2 billion worldwide. So this overperformed in every sense of the word, and the reviews ultimately did not matter. So Colin Trevorrow, unfortunately, will probably continue to get work. Incredibles 2 had a good weekend of 11.5 million, 29% drop. A lot of people thought this film would wrap up at 550, but it's at 557, and I would say 575 is definitely possible from Brad Bird. This is his most successful film, passing Mission Impossible 4. Oh, by the way, we have Mission Impossible Fallout coming soon, which is the best reviewed action film in years. It's got 96% on Rotten Tomatoes and an 86 on Metacritic. It's getting Fury Road or Dark Knight-esque reviews. Very excited to see that movie. I'm going to go see that movie opening weekend if I can. So this film is now at 940 million. It was at 856 million last weekend. That was another thing on the High Council. Did you guys listen to that point where I just started dropping box office numbers? That was funny because we were talking about Ant-Man 2. And I just kind of started being like, oh, this movie made this money, this movie made this money, this was the net profit, this is the net profit. And I was like, oh, this might be getting a little too analytical. Because not everyone likes that. This is, for this show, you guys like that stuff. But I was sitting there on their thing and I'm like, I'm getting a little too analytical about the box office numbers. Which I thought was really funny. Yeah, I'd say the Purge franchise is the new Saw franchise. I've said that for a few weeks now. Black purges matter. Did you like Ant-Man 2? I thought it was generic, but I didn't hate it. Is this really the first time in history all movies in top 5 are sequels? I did not know that. That's a really interesting piece of information. That's really cool. I will be your neighbor, Vash. I will. Oh, I got a super chat. I'm sorry. Ever thought of doing a video on Final Fantasy? Yes, I have. It would just take a lot of work in the editing process, and I've just but I would like to do a video on something on Final Fantasy. Yeah, I don't think the chat liked it that I got into the box office. Because I was getting the numbers exactly right, like Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, it was funny when we got to the box. No, that was part where I was like, oh god, I don't know what to do. Because somebody brought up the box office. I think it was Jeremy or Jeff, and they started talking. I was like, all right, well, let's go down this road, gentlemen. I mean, let's go down this road. They're talking about profits and all that, and I'm like, let's do it. And my numbers were actually very exact on Guardians and Spider-Man and Thor and Ant-Man and all that stuff. But I was like, let's do it. Because I didn't get to talk about the box office the whole stream, and then I got that little moment there, like, all right, guys, let's do it. I was like the guy who knew all the stats for the sports team or something, or like knows D&D better than the rest of the table. I thought that was really funny. But the chat thought it was boring as shit. People say Final Fantasy is about doing new things. What are your quick, brief thoughts? I guess. I think for the most part, the best Final Fantasy games followed a formula, excluding maybe like 8 and a couple other games. But I'd say all the classic games followed a formula for a long time, so I don't know where they think that. But I forgot to mention that on the High Council. It was funny when I was talking about it. But anyway, 940 million worldwide. This should make $1 billion, which we all thought it was going to do. That domestic total's a monster. So yes, this will be another $1 billion film from Pixar, following Finding Dory and Toy Story 3. So there you have it. Very successful movie. Totally great on the top 5 thing, yeah. The Equalizer 2, Mamma Mia 2, Hotel Transylvania 3, Ant-Man the Wasp, Incredibles 2, and Jurassic World Fallen. The top 6 are all sequels. This is the first time in the history of the box office that all... I should have called this episode a sequel weekend or something, because, yeah, that's... I didn't even put that together. Everything's a fucking sequel. That's insane. From number 6 to number 1 is nothing but sequels. That is absolutely crazy. As a box office geek, I feel really weird that I missed that. That's a really interesting thing. Did you like any of the Saw movies? I like 1 and 3, and a little bit of 4, but I really like 1 and 3, personally. It is my thing, yeah. It's my hobby. I mean, it's a hobby of mine, for sure. I mean, I can tell you the box office of films going back to, like, the 50s, and I know the numbers and all that. So, you know, and I know the budgets of movies going back like 50, 60 years. I mean, my opinion on the Titans trailer is what everyone else has said. It looks awful. It looks like the cringe-tieriest most thing ever. It's I mean, the lighting of it, the way the acting looks, the cost. I mean, it looks horrible. I mean, I'm shocked how bad it looks. Sequelitis, yes. Ever played Lost Odyssey? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. It is a classic FFS game from some of the FF people with the classic formula, but expanded upon a bit harder. Yeah, a lot of these films are sequels, actually. You're correct. The first Purge, which is a prequel, and then Unfriended is a sequel, and Sicario is a sequel, and Ocean's 8's technically a sequel. So you have a shitload of sequels in here. So anyway, Incredibles 2 and Jurassic World are having a huge summer at the box office. Just want to point it out. These two films. Ant-Man and the Wasp, on the other hand, not so much. Ant-Man and the Wasp is having a really disappointing performance, considering the first Aunt May made $519 million worldwide, made $180 million domestic. This is a good weekend hold, 16.1, 44% drop, but the budget for this film has to be like $170 million. You have to include marketing. It's only made $353 million worldwide after 3 weekends. That's not that great for a Marvel movie or a sequel. This isn't performing as well as Thor, Captain America sequel, Guardians, Spider-Man Homecoming, which wasn't really a sequel, Thor, I mean, any of them. There is, I mean, this is like the worst performance they've had since The Incredible Hulk in a lot of ways. Now, this film still should make $200 million domestic, which is about what Thor 2 did, but the worldwide total so far, I don't think it's open in China yet, though, which is its biggest market. But this film isn't doing that great, and it got pretty good reviews. Its opening weekend was disappointing. It looked like it was going to open at like 90 million, then it went down to 75. Second weekend was a 62% drop to 28 million. Now, this is a good third weekend hold, so it's balanced out a little bit, kind of like Spider-Man Homecoming. So if it continues down this path, maybe it can make 210 mil domestic, but right now it's looking like it's going to just make $500 million. You know, and at one point it looked like this movie was going to make $650 million, if not more. And then when you got Mission Impossible coming out, which looks like it's going to be a big fucking hit and make $700 million worldwide or something, I don't know how much room Ant-Man has left. I don't know if they'll make Ant-Man 3. I would honestly suggest against it, or do a buddy movie where like Hawkeye or somebody teams up with Ant-Man. Because yeah, go back to the first Ant-Man. 519 million. This one's at 353 to 3 weeks. So this is just really performing on par with Ant-Man. It's doing better domestically, of course. But actually, if we go back, oh sorry, give me one sec. If you do adjusted for ticket price inflation, the first Ant-Man made 202 million. So it's really not doing that much better. So they didn't really grow that audience at all, even after his big appearance in Civil War. So poor little Ant-Man, he can't seem to grow at the box office. So yeah, you know, wrong. It's not a bomb by any means, but this isn't going to be a big money maker, for sure. Yeah, they probably should have waited to release it in like August or something. I think releasing it during the summer with Incredibles 2 and Jurassic World was just a pretty bad idea. It really was. It's a bad release date for a Marvel film, and they're usually great with that. They're usually really good with that, so... Well, sorry, MCU is not going to end anytime soon. It's going to be around for many, many years to come. Especially after Infinity War made as much money as it did, and Black Panther. We're going to get at least two Black Panther sequels. And we're going to get at least, you know, we're getting Infinity War Part 2. I mean, there's still a lot. Spider-Man Homecoming 2. There's still like 6 Marvel movies that are coming out in the next few years, so they're not going anywhere. But this is one of the first times they've ever really taken a hit. Not critically, but financially. This is one of the first times they've really taken a hit at the box office, where they haven't overperformed. Like last year, everything overperformed. Thor Ragnarok, Homecoming, Guardians 2 did really good. Not as good as people thought it would, but it did great. Infinity War did amazing. Black Panther did amazing, you know. So this is the first time in a while. But Dion thought it was overexposure on the High Council. Hotel Transylvania 3, Summer Vacation, one of the dumbest things I've ever read for a movie title. 23.1 million, 47% drop. It's at $91 million domestically, $206 million worldwide on an $80 million budget. Let's go look at the drops for the other Hotel Transylvania films real quick, just for some context here. So this is a bit of a bigger drop, because the other one had a 31% drop than 38%. And let's go look at the first one, which is a film I think is a classic. I love the first Hotel Transylvania. I think it's a Halloween movie classic. That had a 36% drop. So they both held... Let's go back. Although they're both more Halloween movies, it is weird, the summer vacation premise. The other two are like at a castle and a Halloween film. This film being a summer... That's just kind of a bad idea. Kind of the appeal of the Hotel Transylvania franchise, at least, is that it's like a Halloween movie. That they're in a castle, they're in Dracula's castle and all that. So to make it that it's a... that it's like they're on a summer vacation. It's funny that Adam Sandler, he always does that thing where he just pays for his friends to go on a vacation in all of his movies, like Grown Ups, and he's admitted this, that he just gets $80 million to take his friends on an expensive vacation. He's somehow doing it with the animated characters. He made a movie to take his animated friend characters on a vacation. That's how fucking insane this has gotten with Adam Sandler. Even his animated films gotten so lazy. He's like, let's just all go on vacation. Fucking Adam Sandler. Shabba-wee-hoo. Shabba-hoo. Shabba-da-yee-hoo. But this film should still make profit. It looks like right now, though, with this drop, that it'd probably make 100. It's not going to make that. It might not make that 169 the second film made. I don't know if it'll make the 148 the original made. It should be able to make like at least 125, 130 million. Worldwide, it should make 350 million, if not more. So no matter what, this film will make a profit. But yeah, I think the summer vacation idea was a really bad idea. This isn't a vacation movie. Fucking monster movie. Mamma Mia. Here we go again. The sequel to the shockingly huge hit that was Mamma Mia. Mamma Mia is the highest grossing musical of all time. It made $609 million worldwide because ABBA's the biggest thing ever around the world. This film is 10 years in the making. The first Mamma Mia came out so goddamn long ago, but let's go back down. I remember when Mamma Mia came out, and it was so packed. So Mamma Mia, when you adjusted for ticket price inflation, actually made $186 million, which is huge. The film had a good opening weekend of $27 million. It made $144 million domestic. It made $465 million foreign. So this film made $609 million worldwide on a $52 million budget. It was one of the biggest films that year. It's the most successful. Tom Hanks produced it. So here we are with the 10-year sequel, which going into the weekend looked like it was going to open to $40 million. Had a great Friday. Everyone was saying $40 million, but the word of mouth wasn't that great, it seems, because it dropped to $34 million and was shockingly beat by another film sequel, which nobody predicted going into the weekend. This is a shocking weekend. Everyone thought this would be number one at like $41 million, and the other film would open at like $28 million. But the opposite actually happened, or one film overperformed and this film underperformed. $75 million budget, $34 million opening weekend. I still think this film could make $100 million domestically, very much so. I don't think it'll make that $144 million that the first film made, but I could be wrong. However, worldwide, once this gets going, this could easily make $500 million, just because of the popularity of ABBA. And I'm a big ABBA fan myself, actually. They got big from Eurovision, but yeah, this could still be this still could make $500 million worldwide. So, you know, the story isn't done yet with this movie, but so far, disappointing opening weekend, shocking number 2 opening. Although I think the first Mamma Mia might have opened a number 2, actually. Thinking back on it retrospectively. Let me go back and look. Amanda Seyfried. Jeepers, creepers, where'd you get those eyes? Where'd you get those giant fucking eyes? You got giant cat eyes. Okay. Let's go back and look at the original Mamma Mia and see where it opened. I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm right, but... Yes, it did open a number 2. It opened behind The Dark Knight. That's right. I went to go see Dark Knight and Mamma Mia was playing. Yeah, I don't think Mamma Mia was ever number 1. It's one of the highest grossing films that was never number 1 at the box office. I cannot believe I remembered that. That is really weird. Okay, so 76 million worldwide, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. But at a minimum, it should make 300 million, so they're going to make money. That movie had a daddy, Pierce Brosnan. It did. It did. James Bond forgot to pull out. I'm sure Hotel Transylvania 3 was better than 2. 2's freaking awful, but I love the first one. Yeah, it did go full meta. It really did. Yeah, that's true. You know, Mamma Mia is not... I hate the first Mamma Mia movie. I think it's terrible. It's so bad. I've tried to watch it with my girlfriend and, like, my sister and that so many times. It's like, this is a bad movie. You do a good Adam Sandler impression. Now imagine Adam Sandler and Ben Shapiro in a room together. No, I love it, Billy Madison, where he's just like, he comes into the Penguins and he's like, oh, sorry to interrupt. Like, so this is what's going on? It's so funny. The Penguin's there with her. Didn't mean to interrupt. That's... I freaking love that Billy, the Penguin. He gets drunk and imagines a penguin. It's like, dude, what acid are you dropping in your alcohol? And then he does that laugh. He doesn't do that anymore, but he used to do it. You should do a live commentary for the Star Wars prequels. Yeah, probably. At some point. Anyway, that was Mamma Mia 2. Now, here's the crazy thing about this weekend. The fucking Equalizer 2 brought... I don't know, it equalized the box office, for fuck's sakes. Denzel went to Mamma Mia and shot it in the fucking head. This is a great opening weekend for the sequel. This is a better opening weekend than the first film. Nobody predicted this in any predictions or in the tracking. It was saying 25 to 30 million at best. Nobody thought this would beat Mamma Mia. In any of the articles you went to. Even going into Friday, this wasn't supposed to beat Mamma Mia. And then now, here we are, Equalizer 2, which got pretty bad reviews. Like, the first one got really good reviews. This one got okay reviews. This one didn't get great reviews. It's a hit right out of the gate. $62 million budget from Anton Fuqua, who's a director who's had a pretty successful career. He made Training Day. You know, he's had duds like King Arthur and Tears in the Sun. You know, obviously Tears of the Sun. But Shooter did pretty well with Marky Mark. Brooklyn's Finest, which is a movie I actually like with Ethan Hawke, but Olympus Has Fallen was a big hit. The Equalizer, he did Magnificent Seven. Southpaw made 91 million worldwide on a $30 million budget. So very visual director. He's got a great visual style. Very kinetic, interesting style. I like him as a director technically. He's kind of like that guy who made God, I'm trying to think of that fucking guy's name. He made God, he made, I can't believe I'm having a hard time. He made Law Abiding Citizen and some other movies. And he's had kind of this, like, successful career. What is that guy? Let me look that up. Hold on. Wait, no, actually I know how to get there quicker. Because Gerard Butler's in Law Abiding Citizen, so let's go with that. Law Abiding Citizen, the director is F. Gary Gray. Yes, F. Gary Gray. There we go. The guy who made Straight Outta Compton, Fate of the Furious, Be Cool, The Italian Job, The Negotiator. He reminds me of him a lot. Friday, yeah. Who I'm a fan of F. Gary Gray. I really like Straight Outta Compton. I like Friday. I like The Negotiator. I like The Italian Job. But yeah, they remind me of each other a lot as filmmakers, and how their careers have gone and all that. These mainstream African-American filmmakers who have a very distinct visual style. They're visualist filmmakers. But that first film, right, the first Equalizer, opened to $34.1 million on a $55 million budget and made $101 million worldwide and 101 million domestic, 192 million worldwide. It was a success. Denzel Washington continues to be one of the most consistent stars at the box office outside of a few films, but like, you know, Fences did really well with its budget. You know, it's $24 million, made $64 million. But Magnificent Seven was a bit of a disappointment, made 93 mil domestic. But Denzel Washington films consistently open over 30 million. I mean, Two Guns, 27 million opening weekend, $75 million domestic, right? Flight, $24 million opening weekend, 93 mil domestic, 161 million worldwide. Safe House with Ryan Reynolds, $40 million opening weekend, 126 million domestic, 208 million worldwide. Unstoppable, $22 million opening weekend, 81 million domestic. You know, some of these films cost more than they made, but still, he's consistently had an over $20 million. I mean, let's just go down the list here. Look, let's scroll down. Jesus, we have to really go far here. Okay, let's start with Remember the Titans, 20 million in 2000. Training Day, 22 million. John Q, 20 million. Out of Time, 16 million. Man on Fire, 22. Manchurian Candidate, 20. Inside Man, 28. Spike Lee's biggest film. Deja Vu, 20 million. American Gangster, 43 million. Taking of Pelham 123 remake, 23 million. The Book of Eli, 32 million. Unstoppable, 22. Safe House, 40, 24, 27, 34, 34. Now 30 motherfucking 5. This guy has had a great run at the bottom. He's had, I think he's honestly broken the record, or he's up there with Tom Hanks and Tom Cruise of having the most 20 million plus opening weekends. A lot of this is he's made himself this action star and been in a lot of thrillers and smart choices like that. But if you really look at it, outside of like American Gangster and the Safe House, the Equalizer's been his most successful film in many years. Let's look at his worldwide numbers. Another great 3.7, but his films do very well domestically. His biggest film is still Ridley Scott's American Gangster. Philadelphia was a big hit, obviously. Safe House, The Pelican Brief, which adjusted would be a huge hit. Let's look at some adjusted numbers with Denzel. Denzel, man, that laugh. When he, like in Training Day. My man. My man. My fucking man. Fucking love evil Denzel. There's that nice Denzel, you know. There's the nice Denzel, like to Remember the Titans and the John Q and all that. Then there's that fucking evil Denzel. You know, he's actually playing the nicer Denzel in the Equalizer, but there's that bad Denzel where he's like, my fucking man. What the fuck? He's scary. You got them big fucking teeth, man. He's a scary dude. Fences. Who says I gotta like you? I don't gotta like you. Do I feed you? You get dinner? Who said I gotta fucking like you? Scares me, man. So glad my dad wasn't like that. It never said anywhere, I gotta like you. Oh my god. Good old Denzel. I love Denzel Washington, but as a fan of the TV show, I think... Yeah, Nicholas Winding Refn was originally going to direct that. Remember? Refn was up for The Equalizer before it went to Fuqua. I would have liked to have seen... Oh, you're the one. My man. My fucking man. Don't fuck with me, boy. Okay, so anyway, Pelican Brief is his biggest hit, 224 million. Huge hit from Alan J. Pakula. Great filmmaker, made All the President's Men. Remember the Titans, Crimson Tide, American Gangster, Philadelphia, all made over 150 million. Training Day was a big hit. He won the Oscar for that, and of course he won the Oscar for Glory. And a lot of people thought he deserved it for Fences. So anyway, this film probably made a pretty decent profit. I'm assuming at least 50 million. All things considered, although Denzel probably got a pretty good paycheck. First one cost 55 million, this one cost 62. That's not that much bigger of a budget, and it's got a 1 million better opening weekend. It looked like it was going to open on par with the first one, like around 33, 34, and it did better. It beat Mamma Mia, so this is a huge win for the studio. For Sony, this is a huge win, and they need those, certainly. This is a huge win for Denzel and the filmmaker and everyone involved. In the weekend of sequels, Denzel shot straight to the top. My man. Oliver Wood shot Jack Reacher 2, Ben-Hur remake, Anchorman 2, Two Guns, Safe. So he shot some other Denzel movies. So I was trying to say, like, I know the cinematographer. He did Sister Act 2. So there you go, $35 million opening weekend. It is a bit strange that she never got her kit off. Yeah, good point. Came just in time. Came in just in time. Clouds for cheap. Yeah, Bathory don't discriminate, you mofo. How dare you, Craig? Don't you be talking to my girl that way. She can mute you, you know. I gave her superpowers. Is this the first sequel Denzel's ever done? Good call. Wow, so in the weekend of sequels, Denzel, you're right. He didn't do a sequel to Two Guns or Safe House, which I'm shocked they didn't do a sequel to that because that first one did so well. The Great Masturbators. I really like that movie he made, Antoine Fisher. That's a very good movie. I actually like a lot of these movies. I like Out of Time. That's from a director I like a lot. Carl Franklin. He's a great director. He made one of my favorite thrillers of all time. It's better than No Country for Old Men. One False Move. This is an amazing movie that I don't think Criterion's ever released. Written by Billy Bob Thornton and starring him and Bill Paxton. This is an incredible movie. It holds up so well. Amazing film. He also made Devil in a Blue Dress, which is an incredible movie. 2 movies in a row. He's gone on to direct a lot of TV. He's directed like episodes of Breaking Bad and stuff. But really like Carl Franklin as a filmmaker. I like this movie. I think this is a good movie. Jonathan Demme's The Manchurian Candidate. Inside Man's one of Spike Lee's better films. One of his better late career films, honestly. Don't like The Book of Eli. But a lot of these movies I do like. Like Training Day. Like Remember the Titans. Like The Hurricane. Don't like The Bone Collector. Love He Got Game. He Got Game's a really underrated Spike Lee movie. When I met Spike Lee, I wanted to talk to him about that movie because I was like, I wanted to ask him that in the Nike commercials with Jordan. But this is a really underrated movie. Courage Under Fire, good movie. Crimson Tide, very good Tony Scott film, one of his better movies. Philadelphia, really good stuff. Pelican Brief. So Malcolm X is arguably Spike Lee's best film to Do the Right Thing. So there's been a lot of really great movies. He probably should have won the Oscar for Malcolm X, quite honestly. So this is his first sequel in the weekend of sequels, and he won $35.8 million opening weekend. So it's always nice to see a film win when it's not predicted to. It's nice to have a surprise at the box office, and I'm glad that we spent this whole second half on this. He's a very conservative guy, yes. If you see him in interviews, he does stay a lot of conservative. 3 Guns? I think 3 Guns would have been a great title. You get a girl in there, and she's the third gun. I think that's a great... Yeah, Black Klansman does look good. Of course Spike Lee does, of course. Spike Lee hates everyone. Yes, I did not like Book of Eli. I thought the ending was hilarious. Well done by the Hughes brothers, though. Well-directed movie. They did Menace to Society, which is a film I like a lot. Yeah, he doesn't understand. It's weird because it's a really good movie. Malcolm X is a really good movie about a guy who changes, and you see that growth and change in Denzel's performance. It's a really, really fucking good movie. It holds up, too. It feels like an Oliver Stone film when you actually watch it visually and the way it reminds me of Oliver Stone. It reminds me of like JFK and his early 90s work and stuff. It's very Oliver Stone-esque, but Do the Right Thing feels like Scorsese. Do you like Man on Fire? I like Man on Fire. Yeah, of course I do. I like a lot. I mean, the editing's crazy, but I enjoy the movie. Yeah, no, Inside Man is one of his most restrained films for sure. It's him doing the Dog Day Afternoon thing. I really like Inside. But I don't like the ending. I don't like the last 20 minutes, like the fourth. I think it kind of hurts me. But those first like 2.5 acts of Inside Man are awesome. Really good stuff. And 25th Hour, obviously. Is it 25th Hour? Yeah, that's a really good movie with Edward Norton. There's a lot of Spike Lee movies I like. I'm actually a fan of Spike Lee. Just he's made a lot of bad movies too, unfortunately. But certainly not a bad filmmaker. Just kind of a disappointing filmmaker. I mean, Do the Right Thing's such a great movie that it's unfortunate what kind of happened with his career, because that film shows such promise. But She's Gotta Have It's a very good movie. I mean, he did just do a TV show on Netflix. That was an adaptation of one of his first films. But I remember the college that I lived near when he came here to talk. They did a week-long thing of showing his films at Chapel. They did screenings of his films, and I had already seen all of his films. But I went anyway. I went to go see, Do the Right Thing, Malcolm X. I went to go see Bamboozle. I went to go see Summer of Sam and all that stuff. I went and saw all the movies, and And then he came to talk at the end of the week, and I paid $10 to go see him, and it was really disappointing. But it is crazy. I saw Spike Lee, and I was like 3 rows from the stage. I was looking at him the whole time. I was like, what the fuck? That's Spike Lee. I was starstruck for about 20 minutes seeing Spike Lee in person. But he talked for 2 hours. I saw him for a 2-hour lecture, basically. And I saw his films in a church. They showed his films in a chapel in a church, which was really weird. It was weird to watch Malcolm X in a chapel. And I had all these friends who always hated him and hated Do the Right Thing, and then they watched that movie. And they were like, oh man, yeah, that's a really good movie. I underrated that movie. Oh yeah, Oliver Stone's made a lot of great movies. Platoon, Salvador, Talk Radio, Wall Street, Born on the 4th of July. Bunch of good movie. Spike Lee, what bad movies did he make? Oh my god, where do we begin? Let's go to his filmography real quick. And just start there. Oh my god, he's made a bunch of bad movies. I can name some off the top of my head, like The Miracle of St. Anne or whatever, but I want to go look and just get everything right, because yeah, he's made so many bad movies. He's made some great documentaries. Old Boy, Miracle at St. Anna is a terrible movie. She Hate Me isn't very good. Bamboozled isn't a very good movie at all. Summer of Sam, I don't think it's a bad movie, but I don't think it's a good movie either. Girl 6, Crooklyn, I don't think it's a very good movie. I like She's Gotta Have It. I think School Days is okay. I love Do the Right Thing. I'm not a big fan of Mo Better Blues. I don't like Jungle Fever at all. I like Malcolm X. I'm not a big fan of Crooklyn. Clockers is okay. They don't seem to have four Colored Girls. I think it's called Four Colored Girls, about the bomb. That's an amazing documentary. But pretty much, yeah, everything after 25th Hour. She Hate Me is terrible. Inside Man, Miracle at St. Anne is terrible. I never watched Red Hook Summer. And I thought Old Boy was terrible. Now, here's the weird thing. I like Chirac. I think Chirac's great. To me, Chirac was a return to form, but I don't think they have all of his movies listed there. I swear he made more movies than's listed there. But he's made probably 5-6 bad movies. I don't think Crooklyn's decent at all. I like Natural Born Killers from watching it the first time. Original some years later, I found it blind. It's a crazy movie. It's a crazy movie. I like the early part with Rodney Dangerfield. Clockers is okay. I mean, it's not bad. It's not a bad movie, but I don't think it's held up. I think a lot of those movies are aged really poorly. I think they were better in the 90s than they are now. But, yeah, Bamboozled is funny. Yeah, it's weird, because I thought Chirac was terrific. I really liked Chirac. I've seen it like 3 times. I really, really like the movie. I think Nick Cannon's actually great in that movie, which is weird because I hate Nick Cannon, but he gives this like amazing performance. Sorry, I'm late, kid. You're always late, even late to your own funeral. Spike Lee is a 5'2" pile of left-wing pile of shit. What made The Departed a bad screenplay? I don't think The Departed has a bad screenplay, so I don't know what you want me to say. I like the screenplay The Departed by William Monahan. It won an Oscar. I don't think The Departed had a bad screenplay, so I can't answer that question. I can see how somebody might think it's a bad screenplay because it is just a bunch of guys having a dick measuring contest, and it's kind of convoluted and messy, and it sets up a lot of things it doesn't pay off maybe. But for me personally, I love The Departed. I think The Departed's fucking entertaining as shit. The way it's directed, I like the dick measuring contest aspect of it. I think the dialogue is fucking great. I think there's a bunch of quotable lines in that fucking movie. What was he on his period? He has an immaculate record. People don't trust a guy with an immaculate record. But I do. I got an immaculate record. As your mother. Oh, she's... as your father. He's fine fucking my mother. Fucking my father. Yeah, I like the screenplay of The Departed, so... There's a lot of lines of dialogue I like from that movie. 2 pills? When Leo got 2 fucking pills? What asshole, you don't know Shakespeare? I've seen The Departed so many fucking times. I've seen that movie at least like 40 times. But yeah, I think The Departed's got a good script. I think the dialogue's awesome and fun movie. Yeah, it did feel like an instant class. Yeah, I think it's aged well too. I've watched it. It holds up to repeat viewings. When I first saw it, I was a little disappointed because of the hype, but every time I've watched it since, I just think it's great. I love the first 20 minutes before Dropkick Murphys comes in and Leo's in the fucking prison cell, and then it pops up The Departed. That's awesome. Leo's great in it. Mark Wahlberg's amazing. It's his best performance. It's Boogie Nights. So many good things about it. Really fun, entertaining crowd pleaser. Jack Nicholson just going full over the top crazy. Who said that? Hawthorne. Yeah, Hawthorne. Yeah. Yeah, Hawthorne, sir. You always had to pretend you were a kid from Southie every weekend, every other weekend, Sergeant. Well, then do it again. Do it for me. Even the beginning of that movie where Jack Nicholson's in the shadows. I haven't seen many of the newer Woody Allen movies, but aren't they all about how possible has become happy? No, that's not what they're all about, no. A lot of them, yes. Yes. Let me say that, but not all of them, no. I thought you said you didn't like The Departed. I thought the ending was hilarious and stupid. No, I like The Departed. I've never said I dislike The Departed. You must have remembered that wrong. I'm a fan of The Departed. I have friends who hate that movie. I have a lot of friends who think that movie's shit and a mess and terrible and over the top and just a bunch of machismo and Scorsese's. But I don't feel that way. I love The fucking Departed. Guilty pleasure or not, I don't care. I enjoy it. I think it's fun as shit. I don't care if Scorsese uses the Rolling Stones song 8 times in his movie. I don't care. That movie's so much fun. It's well put together too. It's just well directed. Scorsese's such a good director. It's such a technically well made film that it comes together. What's the director today with the most hit or miss record that's working today, like currently making films? Damn, that's a tough question. Because I'm trying to think. Shane Black, maybe? Because he could make a totally brilliant film, and then a film that's just completely forgettable. Or generic Shane Black stuff. Trying to think who's currently hit. Because there's a lot of filmmakers that are hit or miss. Yeah, it is a toxic masculinity masterpiece. I agree. I think that's it. Oh, Silence is terrible. I fucking hated Silence. Actually, I think good acting, but God, really, really boring and bad movie. See, I wouldn't say M. Night Shyamalan just because he's only made one good movie in years, so I don't know if that's hit and miss. Split's his only good movie in a decade, so I don't know. Unless we're talking about in general. Oh, Bryan Singer, that's a good one. That's a goddamn good one, because Apocalypse sucked, but Days of Future Past is great, and now his Bohemian Rhapsody looks amazing. And he made fucking, you know, he made The Usual Suspects and Apt Pupil. 2 films I love. Yeah, Bryan Singer's and then Jack the Giant Slayer isn't that great. Yeah, he's a good choice, Bryan Singer. Bryan Singer's sometimes Bryan Singer seems like a brilliant director who's so good at editing and putting a movie together, and then other times you're like, what the fuck? Yeah, probably Woody Allen. It's Woody Allen. What am I even saying? One year Woody Allen will make a brilliant film like Midnight in Paris or Match Point or Blue Jasmine that are brilliant, and then he'll make a totally crappy, forgettable movie like Rome, I Love You or something, or Cafe Society. Woody Allen is totally been inconsistent in the 2000s. The 80s, he was completely consistent. In the 70s and the 90s, most of his films aren't that great. In the 2000s, he'll make a great movie, and then 2 years later, he'll make a great movie. It's like every other Woody Allen film that is good. Although he's had a pretty bad streak here on the last few. But yeah, Woody Allen's extremely inconsistent. So it doesn't make... I mean, he makes a movie a year. I know Bryan Singer can be completely generic, and other times he's brilliant. Like, Usual Suspects is so well made. And Days of Future Past is really well made. So I don't know. It's weird with those guys. Some guys have that where they'll seem so talented, and the next time... Like Apocalypse. It's like, what happened to Bryan Singer? He's so good. I mean... I think it's pretty Vicky Cristina Barcelona. Yeah, that's also a good film. I think it's pretty confirmed that Bryan Singer was banging teenage boys. I think there's too much evidence, so I'm not gonna say he's a pedo because he didn't get with children. But is he a creep? Yes. Yeah, Zack Snyder couldn't be hit and miss because he's just had misses for like several films in a row. I mean, if you want to call Watchmen a hit, that's fine, but since then, you know, he hasn't had any hits. Yeah, Woody Allen's, yeah, he's someone who's made too many films, probably. Probably should have been a little bit more selective with some of his films. I don't know. I don't know what the... I don't know how we're gauging this at all. I don't think Steven Soderbergh is hit or miss. I think Steven Soderbergh's just great. I don't think he's made a bad movie in years. I like Magic Mike. I like Haywire. I like his last film. I liked... I think, God, what's it called? The one with Rooney Mara and Channing Tatum. I think that's one of his best films. Side Effects. Side Effects is terrific. Yeah, I think Soderbergh's just been on a run, actually. He's made some films that aren't as good as others, but they're pretty much all... He hasn't made a bad movie for me in years. As far as I'm concerned, Steven Soderbergh's reached that like David Fincher level where he just can't make a bad movie because he's too good of a filmmaker. For me, I don't feel that way at all about Soderbergh. That's fine. Yeah, it's fine if you don't like Magic Mike. I thought Magic Mike was good. I thought he was trying to make like a modern Saturday Night Fever. I'm just a fan. I didn't like The Girlfriend Experience that much, and mainly just because Sasha Grey was horrible. That was probably the last one I disliked, and Shay I didn't like. But somewhere when he started to make he started to have this comeback, like sometime around The Informant, and every movie he's made since then's been good and been successful. I mean, he just had this huge comeback. I don't know if there's anyone left. That's a good question. We'll have to find out. Yeah, I like Logan Lucky. A lot of, yeah. I mean, Batman v Superman is better than Suicide Squad. I don't think that's a debate. Suicide Squad's fucking awful. Completely. I really like Cillian Murphy. I wish he got more work. The dude's so talented. He's like one of the best actors in the world. And he's so underutilized. Do you believe that Matchpoint is a ripoff of Fatal Attraction? No, because Fatal Attraction wasn't original to begin with. That premise has been around for decades in literature and in film. So no. And in plays. So no, I do not. Fatal Attraction is, if anything, it was derivative. Even though I love Fatal Attraction, Adrian, it was already a derivative film. So no, in fact, I think Woody Allen did a lot of fresh things with that genre. But and Fatal Attraction was not an original movie at all, really. Really good movie, though. Really good film. Oh, it is one of the worst paced comic book films ever. Agreed. Totally agreed. Trying to... Do you guys have any final questions? He does have a beautiful face. He has a wonderful face. He has a beautiful face. He has a beautiful voice. I love everything about Cillian. He's amazing. I want to adopt him. I would take care of him. Kurt Russell seems like a straight up guy. I agree. He seems like a good dude. Seems like a really good dude. Could De Palma make a comeback? No. No, he could not. De Palma is finished. I would bet money on it that Brian De Palma's never making a comeback. He's pretty much retired. So I don't even think he's going to make a movie, and if he does, I don't see it being very good, so no. Unfortunately, there would be nothing I love more than Brian De Palma to make another great movie, but no, I don't think so. I would put money down on that there's no chance of a Brian De Palma comeback. I would love to do a Gundam video. I didn't know you swung that way, Pat. Well, Cillian Murphy looks enough like a chick, doesn't he? I mean, just watch Breakfast on Pluto, and you're like, okay, I could get into this. I mean, he's prettier than some girls I've dated. Yeah, Zack Snyder does have that issue. He tries to pace his films as, like, these contemplative epics. Whatever happened to Brian De Palma? He just got old, disconnected. I mean, you know, it's normal. I mean, he was a really talented filmmaker for years, you know. So I mean, it's just the way of the world. Philip Kaufman is underrated. Probably one of the top underrated directors. I mean, The Right Stuff, I would say, is his best film. Unless I'm wrong that he directed that, but I believe that was Philip Kaufman, wasn't it? Because The Right Stuff's like just one of the best movies ever. It's one of the greatest films of the 80s. Cillian Murphy's penis is alright. Pretty average in my... Okay. Okay. Where did that come from? I wouldn't call the Wachowskis up and down because they've mostly made bad movies. I mean, Bound and The Matrix are good, and I like Speed Racer, but yeah. He had another film called Dawn. That just shows De Palma's not making a comeback. Yeah, The Right Stuff, yeah, because nobody even cared that he had a film. Yeah, I don't think the Wachowski sisters are up and down just because they've been down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. We were at a party. We were all wearing matching hats. It wasn't a hat. It was a lobster. Yes, Final Fantasy was much better when it followed a formula. People liked Sensei? That show sucked. I didn't think Cloud Atlas was good. I thought it was it had good scenes. It did have parts in it that were good. I can't say that. It wasn't all a waste of time, but no, I didn't think it was very good. Wachowskis are very interesting filmmakers. They're very interesting, their whole career. What if Spike Lee directed Space Jam 2? That would be awesome. Bound's a really good movie. I think Bound's a good movie. Pat, sorry you had a bad experience on... I didn't have a bad experience. Someone did apologize in the chat, though. They're like, Pat, I'm sorry for making you come on here. I didn't have a bad experience. It was just a weird high council. I mean, what are you gonna do? It was weird. Everybody was up. Jeremy wasn't talking. Jeff wasn't talking. Dion was drunk. Ethan was pissed. I was tired. I mean, it was just a fucking mix of things that just wasn't right. You know, if we had all come in with high energy and been excited and had a fun time, it would have been great, you know? It's just everybody was off. Everybody was off going into it, you know? Did you go to the gym today? No, I haven't gone to the gym in months. I work out at home mostly. But I did work out yesterday. I did push-ups and some tricep resistance band stuff, and I did some pull-ups and chin-ups and stuff like that, so yeah. I worked out yesterday, but no, I didn't. I haven't gone. I want to join a gym now that I'm here. No, Damon Lindelof's pretty much down. Everything he's done sucks, excluding Lost. Actually, I take that back. I take that back. That show's really good, The Leftovers. So now, as a screenwriter, he's bad. As a TV writer, no, he's not so bad. Yeah, you guys should have all gone on there and cheered me on. I blame you guys. I blame all of you. I mean, hopefully I get invited back to the High Council. You know, hopefully I get another shot. And we can make a better one. You know, maybe, you know, there's got to be a morning after. Yes, yeah, Bound's really good. Bound's a really fun neo-noir. Plus it's got Gina Gershon and Jennifer Tilly having sex. That automatically gets a 10 out of 10 for me, just that alone. Like, what? Thank you, Wachowski sister. I mean, thank you very much. It's hard for me to... That's back when they had balls, literally, and it's like, fuck yes, this is the most macho movie ever. Thank you. I mean, that's all you have to say to me. I was like, shake my head like, wait, what? That's in a movie? Okay. But then it's wrapped in this really fun neo-noir. It's like, oh, great. I didn't need all that. I just needed the sex, but... It's like having amazing sex, but then like, oh, you're really fun to have a conversation with, too. This could be a relationship. Yeah, where were you, Bathory? Where were you? That's now I know where your real loyalties lie. Yeah, I think it was just too many people. That's true. Don't blame me. I'm one of the guys to convince Jeff. No, I don't blame you, Crazy. I'm just messing with you guys. What's your favorite animated IP from childhood? Geez, I don't know. You mean like a movie or like a franchise? It'd be more specific. Seeing Jenna Gershon and Jennifer Tilly naked is always right. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The Wachowskis deserved an Oscar for that goddamn decision. Oh, cool. Well, have fun at the gym, my friend. I mean, it's saying that we don't like change. I mean, I don't mind change. It's just that a lot of the new Final Fantasy games suck. If you're gonna change it into something good. A franchise? Man, I don't know. Land Before Time? The Rescuers movies? I don't know. There wasn't many franchises I remember. Get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something? I was there in the High Council watching you. And do not be angry with Bathory. Wait, so you're like the mom watching me dance in The Sixth Sense. Don't blame me, I don't like crowded streams. I was probably in bed. Sure you were. Yeah. It's cold outside, but it's warm in bed. Bathory couldn't come to my stream instead. Well, I'll try to wake you up before you go next time, bitch. But you left me hanging like a yo-yo. Just know that. That's the thing. Beth's like a dominatrix. She didn't like all the beta in there that she couldn't control. That was the problem. She wants to tie everyone up with the leash and stuff and whip them and all that crap. I get sad from The Land Before Time on how the little girl was murdered by her dad. What? Oh, the actor. I was like, what scene was that? Did you know Monkey Jones is having a film contest? I did not know that. I haven't been able to watch a lot of YouTube because of the move. Been trying to get a job. So, been a little busy. Oh, good lord, that was bad. I love dominatrixes. That's hot, Pat. That's really hot. It's really, really hot. Bathory's on the other side of the computer like, how did he know? You can't ask me to be up at any time until you pay me. Fine. Alright, somebody give me $100 in super chat so I can give Bathory $1. Come on, people. Let's be fair, just give me 100. That's all. I mean, that's not much, really. Come on. Do you think the Wachowski bros, it's sisters, okay? Don't be transphobic. Parents committed suicide when their son got sex changes. I mean, I don't think they did. You said new job, not try to put into your personal life, but is your business. I'm looking for a job. I had a job, I thought I had one, but I didn't get the callback I was supposed to be getting, but maybe I'm getting it tomorrow. But I do have other jobs lined up. I have an interview on Wednesday. I have a couple other jobs that are pretty much locked up, but I don't know if I want to do them. So that's about it. I know you were talking about the song lyrics, so I don't know. I have one that has health insurance, though, and that makes me happy, because I'd like some benefits, so... Pronouns, sir! Have you ever seen One Piece? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Alright, I'm going to end the show, because I don't want this to be like a 2.5-hour episode, and it's already been 2 hours and 11 minutes. I was wanting to wrap this up at the 2-hour mark, and we're at 2 hours and 12 minutes. I already fucked up and went longer than I wanted to. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You know? what are you gonna do? Anyway, if you listen to Box Office Addict, you're probably a box office addict yourself. Mission Impossible Fallout looks fucking amazing. And I'm not here to help you with those addictions. I'm here to encourage them. Yes, I have. I have seen Death Note, and it's great. So, until next time, I'll see you next Sunday for episode 54. Hopefully I see you next Sunday. I don't know if I'll be here or not. And to all of the old guys who've been watching the show, I appreciate it. As always, Frasier, Danger, Blood Money, all the people in the chat, and the great and wonderful Bathory, who's always here supporting me, being my sidekick, being the one girl in the group. I'm sorry about that, Freddy. Try to come a little earlier next time. Sort of like you do in your bedroom. If you come as early as you do in the bedroom, you'd be here as soon as it started. But, anyway, thank you guys watching in. Can you please do some suggested movies videos? I really need that. Yes, I will do that. I will get on that, sure. Of course. Take care, Pat. Goodbye, and thanks. Thank you, big fat man. Stay fat, my friend. See you later, crazy. And guys, thank you for getting me on the High Council. Thank you for setting me up with the networking. I appreciate it. It brought a lot of subs to the channel. So you guys are really helping me. And let's keep that going. Let's get on Wild Smile. Let's get on Geeks and Gamers. Let's get straight to the top. Alright? I do have other mods. I just can't remember anyone. And Noel wasn't here. Poor little Noel. My little Noely Noel. Alright, bye. Bye, guys.